The vanishing town, Ethan Carter gripped the steering wheel of his Jeep as he drove through the winding mountain roads of West Virginia. The dense forest on either side of the road swallowed the last traces of daylight, casting long shadows that stretched like fingers across the cracked asphalt. His GPS had given up miles ago, the signal lost to the isolation of the Appalachian wilderness. He glanced at the letter on the passenger seat, an old yellowed piece of paper, written in shaky handwriting. If you want the truth, come to Raven Creek. People are disappearing and no one talks about it. They will tell you to leave. Don't listen. No name, no return address, just an urge to uncover something dark. Ethan was no stranger to urban legends. He had built his career exposing hoaxes and forgotten mysteries, but something about this felt different, more real. As he passed a rusted sign that read, "Welcome to Raven Creek," he felt an inexplicable chill run down his spine. Raven Creek was smaller than he expected. A single main road lined with dilapidated buildings, peeling paint, and empty windows that seemed to watch him. A gas station stood at the town's entrance, but the pumps were ancient, long out of service. The few people walking around stopped when they saw him. Their faces were pale, hollow, almost sunken, as if they hadn't seen a stranger in years. Ethan parked outside what looked like the sheriff's office, a small brick building with a flickering porch light. As he stepped out, a man in a brown uniform pushed the door open. Sheriff Tom Wilkins, 60s, gray beard, eyes that had seen too much. "You lost?" the sheriff asked, voice rough like gravel. "Number I'm here to..." Ethan hesitated. How do you tell someone you're investigating their town for disappearances? "I'm writing a story, research." The sheriff exhaled slowly. "You need to leave. Whatever you're looking for, you won't like what you find." A heavy silence settled between them. Ethan pulled out the letter. "Someone sent me this. They wanted me here." The sheriff's eyes flickered with something, fear, before he shook his head. "Burn it and go home." With that, he turned and walked back inside, locking the door behind him. Ethan ignored the warning. He checked into the only motel in town, a rundown, vacant place called Creekside Inn. The neon sign outside flickered erratically, buzzing like an insect trapped in glass. The receptionist, an older woman with trembling hands, gave him a key without asking his name. "Room 6, she whispered. "Keep your curtains closed after dark." That night, Ethan sat on the bed, flipping through the town's history. His research showed Raven Creek used to be a booming mining town until 1953, when an entire neighborhood vanished overnight. No signs of struggle, no bodies, just empty houses with food still on the tables, doors wide open. As he stared at the black and white photos, his phone screen suddenly glitched. Static, then darkness. The motel's electricity flickered once, then died. A noise, footsteps, slow, deliberate. He grabbed his flashlight and moved to the window. The parking lot was empty, but on the glass there was a fresh handprint, and it was on the inside. The next morning, Ethan visited the library. A woman named Maggie Dawson, the town's only librarian, greeted him with wary eyes. "You shouldn't be here," she said, handing him a stack of old newspapers. "Neither should these people," Ethan muttered, scanning the headlines. Mysterious disappearance in Raven Creek, 1953. Another family gone, 1978. Local man vanishes without a trace, 1994. The pattern was clear. Every 25 years, people vanished. The next one was due this year. Maggie hesitated. "There's a house on Willow Street. It appears and disappears." Ethan frowned. "A house?" She nodded. "Some nights it's just there. And people who go inside don't come out." That night, Ethan found Willow Street, and there it was, a house that shouldn't exist, It looked brand new, white paint gleaming under the moonlight, porch light flickering. But when he stepped inside, the air shifted. The floor creaked beneath his weight, but the furniture looked untouched, like someone had just been there. A dining table set for dinner, plates of food still steaming, a baby's high chair swaying slightly. Then, footsteps above him, his breath hitched, slow, dragging. He pulled out his phone, the flashlight cutting through the darkness. At the top of the stairs, a door was slightly open. A shadow moved inside. Then the whisper came, right next to his ear. "You shouldn't be here." Ethan turned and ran. But when he reached the front door, it was gone. Nothing but a solid wall where it had been. His heart pounded. He sprinted to the windows, bricked up. The house had sealed itself shut. Upstairs, the footsteps started again, coming closer. Ethan grabbed his phone, dialing the only number he could think of, Sheriff Wilkins.